This was our reading demonstration with Besima from Bosnia. Besima, we now know, has not gone to school a great deal, and so she would be the perfect example for somebody that we want to assess with a reading demonstration to see how much reading text she recognizes and how she can negotiate text. She's the kind of person where if we give her a standardized reading test, it will look like she is not able to do anything. Students like her usually have a very difficult time dealing with multiple choice options or even reading the direction on a standardized test. So giving them the opportunity to demonstrate what they can do with real materials that they've seen in their daily lives allows us to see what a starting point is for instruction and allows us to see how much progress they can make in that. So we used the Coca-Cola can to see whether she would be able to tell what's Coca and Cola. She was able to point towards the right word, but she may have memorized it or may have a strategy for realizing one is Coca, one is Cola, without actually sounding things out. She was able to recognize the M on the McDonald's page, but then had difficulty with reading out USA, and again, an interesting cultural phenomenon. Students like her don't associate USA with the United States, so they're just isolated letters for them, and the Olympic symbols also don't mean anything for them, which means they're not tied in this whole kind of cultural literacy around international sports. We should try soccer with the men one time to see what we get. She was able to negotiate some of the story in terms of Adam, and she was able to remember what he liked. I noticed her eyes, and she did not go back to the text at all to double check where it said Coca-Cola ice cream. So she's developed strategies for essentially memorizing information and then giving it back. She was fairly amazing in terms of being able to tell very, very quickly that this was an energy bill, both by looking it over, and then she didn't start reading on the top the way a literate person does to try to figure it out, but she scanned it and then recognized the ComEd at the bottom as an electricity bill. So again, it's somebody who holistically takes in a configuration but isn't able yet to kind of process print across the board. She recognized the lottery ticket immediately, again, a strategy where she doesn't have to read and doesn't read, just works on straight recognition. Able to negotiate a grocery flyer by being able to figure out, what the products are and how much they are. Was able to find bananas after a while, but didn't have skimming and scanning. She kind of started reading at the top and then made her way down to banana, same way she did in California. Pears, she didn't zero in on the pears, but she started reading California. Interesting phenomenon in terms of, being able to deal with numbers. She decided that the phone bill, one second. The phone bill, which now has disappeared, actually said the phone bill was $25.49. She insisted on saying it was $250. When I wrote down 200 to see if she was saying 200, she said yes. So it didn't seem to be a language problem. It seemed to be not quite being able to process what the amount of the bill was. So whether she expected it to be 200 or whether the isolation of the price made a difference, that was one of the difficulties she had. She's a perfect student for this kind of ESL civics and literacy program where we should really be able to see some growth as she learns more English and she learns to kind of do more around reading stories or dealing with functional print, because this is where she can make some progress. She should get a little bit of help in terms of helping with decoding. We got a sense early on she has a very hard time reading Bosnian text if it is in a paragraph and not just the title. She read very haltingly, she had trouble sounding it out, and she made a number of mistakes. So going to something in the native language and asking people to read it aloud is a very good indicator of how much education in the home country people may have had. And if you assess it, you don't even need to know the language or very much about it to get a sense of whether the person can read fluently or not. And she grew up with a little bit of German. At her age, there was still quite a bit of German around in Bosnia. And as a number of Bosnian students, when she gets at a loss, she'll throw in the German word, and kind of any foreign word will do. But that's a strategy that can really help her out.